Hello, girls. Welcome back to the podcast. Today, we're going to be talking with Bridgette of Gut Personal, and she is the founder and CEO of Gut Personal, a supplement company that empowers its customers to eliminate gut issues for good through her personalized approach. And she has this viral magnesium product that you may have seen on TikTok. I don't know if you've seen on TikTok the tart cherry juice sleepy girl mocktail, but her product went viral for that. And today we're going to talk all things gut health. Bridgette is a gut health specialist, and she spent years trying to heal her own gut, and then she became a functional nutritionist. And through healing her own gut, she became very passionate about women's gut health. So we're going to talk about how she helps her clients and her customers heal their gut. I personally have been through it with my gut health over the last, lifetime. I remember being a little girl and going to bed with tummy aches because I think I was always lactose intolerant and my parents didn't believe me. And this episode is for anyone who's ever struggled with their stomach issues. Hot girls have stomach issues. We know this, but we're going to dig into why that is and what we can do to fix our gut. Welcome to the show, Bridgette. I gave you a little intro, but we're going to jump right into speaking about women's gut health. And oh my gosh, why do hot girls have stomach issues? Like, it's a trend now, and I feel like we need to get to the bottom of this. To give you a little bit of a backstory, and I've spoken about this on social media too, but I have had stomach issues like my whole life, and I've come a long way with them. But I had Lyme disease, which I feel like wreaks havoc on your gut. So I've spent the last few years doing so much better, but really trying to get my gut health back on point. And it's come a long way, but it has been a journey. And I know you've had a journey, Bridgette, with your gut health. So maybe you can tell us like a little bit about why you got into the field of trying to help women fix their guts.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I was thinking about you and your community this morning. And the thing that was coming up for me was like girls on Instagram, on the internet right now are just IBS girlies, right?
Yeah.
Like,
No,
hot
it's
girls
so
have gut issues. And you're
Yeah.
like, and while like I love that we're all like feeling like we're not alone, it's like, but wait a minute, we don't have to have gut issues. So exactly what you said, like I went through my own health journey, gut health journey. I was a registered dietitian and I was eating so well. I mean, I was taking such great care of my body, but I couldn't poop.
Okay.
I was so bloated. I had migraines, like late diagnosed ADHD. I had thyroid issues where I gained a lot of weight and then I lost a lot of weight really fast. It was just bananas. And
Yeah.
even as like a registered dietitian, I was like, this doesn't make sense to me because I'm taking such great care of my body. But like, why am I diagnosed with all of these things?
Yeah.
And I'd go to doctors and they would be like, but you're fine. Your labs look normal, which I'm sure with you with Lyme disease, like there's so many misconceptions about like what normal should be in our bodies and like what we should be okay with. And I had to like fight for myself with doctors, but then I found functional medicine.
Yeah. Same.
And yeah, and that like changes the game, right? So I went back to school for 3 more years, casual, and I was just like, I have to be an expert because so many women need this and I needed to fix my own body. So
Yeah. So did you essentially find a practitioner too, or did you go back and study and sort of do it yourself?
I mostly did it myself. You
Wow.
know, I was working with an interning with Mark Hyman,
Mhm.
and he's a huge functional medicine doc.
Yeah. No,
And
I
so,
love the book.
yeah, he's so amazing. His dietitians are even more amazing. But I really just was my own guinea pig. Like the first thing that I did was a poop test. Did you
Yeah.
ever do one of those?
Oh, so many. I'm
Oh,
like
yeah.
very familiar with digging through my poop.
I mean,
Actually, I need to do another one any day now to like retest. And
yeah.
I don't. You have to like where you store your poop in the fridge. It's a whole
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah, just don't tell your husband.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was like 8 years ago when I healed myself and then started healing, like I had a private practice and then during the pandemic took that practice online. And that's the company that we have now where we do poop tests with just about anyone who will let us.
Is that a good place to start if someone's having gut issues to really do a stool test?
1,000%.
you have one that you like the most? Because what's tricky with stool tests in my experience is like,
Yeah.
even those I've had come back negative, but I
Yeah.
know there's so many. So I've
Yeah.
had some, but is there one that you guys really love?
We love the GI map, and that's the only gut test that we do. And it's 5 pages long. I have to tell you, I have never seen a test normal.
Wow. Okay.
Never. And maybe one. There's one I can remember. And I mean, I've done thousands at this point. There's one I
Yeah.
can remember where I was like, wow, okay, there's just like one or two things we need to do. But if you
Yeah.
have like gut symptoms or even like women with like skin issues,
Yeah.
you
Acne.
yeah, acne or like redness or like discoloration, rosacea, like all of that stuff is like all gut related. So there's going to
Yeah.
be stuff that comes up.
Okay. No, I so believe it. We'll put that in the show notes. I think I've done that one. I'm pretty sure that's what my naturopath uses, but I had seen different
Definitely.
doctors and stuff. So,
Yeah.
how long did it take you to get to the root of what was wrong with your gut? Like, what did you discover?
Oh my gosh. I mean, it was pretty darn quick. So for
Yeah.
me, I had a very strong sensitivity to gluten,
Okay.
and that was causing my thyroid issues and my migraines. I had candida overgrowth in my gut, so
Hmm.
common, and it wreaks havoc on our immune system. Do you have that too?
Yeah. Yeah. I still kind of feel like I have some lingering candida. So I'm taking, yeah. Yes.
Yeah. Oh my God. We need to jam on like all the things you're taking because
Yeah.
it's so powerful. You know, not only is the test important, but the practitioner that you work with. So you were even saying like you've worked with so many doctors, and
Yeah.
it's like you have to find that person who like really understands like a holistic view of you, like just thinking
Yeah.
of
History.
you. Yeah. And not
Totally.
just like, oh, this is what the test says, this is what we should do. Like what I really pride ourselves in is like, who is Taylor? Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Instead of just like, oh, this is what your test says, you have candida, so we're just going to give you this typical protocol. It's like, no, we have to, like, there's an art to functional medicine too.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. So you discovered you have candida. I
Yeah.
think my candida is gone. Like honestly, I will say my gut's in the best place it's ever been. But what I'm
Good.
working on now is getting off all things. Like I want
Yeah.
it to just be good without tons of support. And that's what I'm sort of working on now. That's what I'm having a hard
Yeah.
time.
I think like for me, what was really helpful is like thinking of my gut as the weak link. It's
Yeah.
like maybe that's your weak link and you're always going to need to support your gut, but maybe that
Yeah.
just looks like one supplement a day or two supplements a day. Or can you make it really fun? Like my gut support, I put in a mocktail every night.
Can you talk about that? We're going to talk about the tart cherry juice and why you think that's such a trend. And then also your products because I have them sitting right here.
Oh, yay. So we have this like viral sleepy girl mocktail that we
What is
made.
that for people who haven't seen TikTok?
Yes. Or I mean, I'm so bad. I'm not on the talk.
Yeah, honestly.
Elder millennial.
Yeah, I try to limit my time on that platform because I feel like it's just a bit of a dark hole. But
Yes. So we love magnesium. So the whole premises of a sleepy girl mocktail is to help you sleep and poop.
mhm.
And so it's our magnesium, which is a strawberry flavor. We then add in our gut soother, which is L-glutamine and aloe. So good. And then we add in our dairy-free colostrum. Yes, the soother. It's so good. And then we add in our like flavorless colostrum. If you've seen like Armra a lot, you know, being
Yeah.
promoted, it's like that same concept, but it's dairy-free. So that's
Mhm.
really important with a lot of IBS girlies
What
your life.
does the dairy-free colostrum do? Because I've seen Armor so much, and then I try to limit dairy. Some it's weird. Some dairy I'm good, and some dairy I'm not good.
Yeah.
But yeah, what does that do for the gut?
Oh my gosh, so many amazing things like deeply healing the gut and leaky gut and your immune system. If your body is like keeps having things come back, like let's just say, for example, candida was like not going away for you.
Yeah.
Or if someone's like getting recurrent like UTIs, or you just have like gut issues that won't go away, colostrum is really great at like getting in there and supporting the immune system in a really deep way, which when we think of the guts, we don't
Yeah.
really think of the immune system, but it's
Oh, it's so connected. Yeah.
so connected and so important. So yeah, it's like healing and sealing the gut. We use a dairy-free version, which actually comes from blood of the cow, which is kind of wild, but it's great because especially for skin issues or gut issues, you really don't want to be doing a lot of dairy if it bothers you, and
Yeah.
autoimmune issues. So I like ours better, of course, but
Yeah.
both really great products.
What does the cherry juice do in the Sleepy Girl mocktail?
Yeah, so it has like a natural melatonin in it. So that can be really great for, yeah, like supporting sleep as well.
Yeah, interesting. I had that down to ask you. I've always wondered. I've been making them, but I just didn't know what the cherry juice did. What is the
Yeah.
biggest issue that you see like across the board with women and their guts? Why do you think we have so many gut issues? Like, I don't think I have one girlfriend who is like, oh yeah, my digestion's perfect. We're always talking about how we're pooping too much, which that's like always been my kind of thing, is pooping too much. Now we're good. We're pretty regular, and then I have friends who are like, I haven't pooped in a week.
Yes.
So why? Why is that?
I mean, I think there's a couple different things. I think at our age, we were put on so many antibiotics as kids,
Yeah.
typically like 90s babies, right? So antibiotics, like when we were young, is really big. I mean, stress, the gut brain connection really changes the gut. It lowers our immune system. And so when the immune system's lowered, more of this like pathogenic yeast and bad bacteria. And you might have heard of like SIBO. People have,
Oh yeah.
that's really common.
But don't you think it's like most people have at
Yeah.
some point been exposed to these bacterias?
Yes. And it's like kind of up to our body if our body's strong enough to fight it. So if you have gut issues, you have one of these. And I think like what's so popular is like, just go on a parasite cleanse, or I'm going to do a food sensitivity test. And neither of those work because parasite cleanse, one, is so strong and it can be so toxic to the body, especially if you don't have parasites. And
Yeah.
I think it's like
It's like a
simplified.
band-aid kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you done a parasite cleanse? I have had really good success from parasite cleanses, but I feel like it freaks me out on the internet when you see people just taking random herbs not under the supervision of a doctor. Like,
Yeah.
I would only ever do a parasite cleanse when my functional doctor has told me this is what you need to do because of this testing.
Yeah.
It scares me when people are just like downing herbs and then, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, parasites have never been my root cause, but I've put a
Yeah.
lot of people on them. So I'm a functional medicine dietitian. So
Yes.
similar. I mean, we both have very similar training, but I would never, in Gut Personal, we will never carry a parasite cleanse because of that. Like, you need to be under supervision. One, we need to test.
Yeah.
Is that what's going on? And if it is, sure, we will do that. But yeah.
Yeah. I think
don't ever
it's
recommend.
when people on the internet are drinking like a half a thing of herbs. Do you ever, you're not on TikTok, but yeah, that's a whole thing.
I mean, it's bananas. And then food sensitivity tests too. It's like,
Yeah.
that doesn't tell us that your immune system is overreacting. It doesn't really mean that you have a food sensitivity.
Food sensitivities can go away. Like, so if you're reacting to everything all at once, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that happened to me. My whole thing kind of started because we lived in a moldy house. And so my immune system got really low, and then everything kind of, my immune system wasn't regulating as much. And then these kind of infections came out when before I was totally fine. But the food sensitivities went away after my immune system got back into balance. We moved out of this really moldy house. But so it's interesting. I feel like the intention is good with these things, but it's just not really like the deepest issue. So where should someone start if they are having a lot of gut issues?
It kind of depends. If you are like at your wit's end and you are like, okay, I really need to know what's going on, then 1,000%, you need to work with a practitioner and you need to do a GI map.
Yeah. Like, what about people that I have so many people that I've said that to too, and they say, but I don't want to spend the money. My normal doctor says I'm good. It's like there's this gap in.
Yes. I mean, that's literally why I started my company, because like women aren't empowered enough or educated enough that like they deserve to feel really well. I think there's still this like, well, like I poop all the time and that's normal type thing. And I know you don't believe that, right? You're like, no, I want to feel really great. I didn't believe that either. And so, I mean, I once had someone who was like, I can't spend the money, but I'm going to redo my kitchen. It's like, if that's not your priority, then don't do it. But then also don't be frustrated when you feel like shit all the time. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So finding a practitioner that can really help you and will kind of believe you.
Yes, absolutely. And that's why we cease to exist, because we're like, we've been there. Like our lead dietitian, she had every issue under the sun. And it was like, yeah, find a practitioner. And you can do this stuff online, poop tests. You've done it. You do it in your own home. You send it in. Like, yeah, it's really great. I think that's a really great part of it too.
Do you think that we're exposed to more bad bacteria now because of like our current environment and the way that, especially like in the US? Or you said it's stress,
Yeah.
lifestyle, but why do you think it's just like sometimes I think back to women in the 20s. Were they dealing with this kind of stuff? Or like,
Oh my
were we just
God.
not living as long? Or are we just more aware now? Or
I
is it
think
just that our world is getting more toxic?
I mean, well, I kind of live in this world like with rose colored glasses, but there's some things that like we can't, like our food system has way more pesticides, way more antibiotics than it used to. We take more antibiotics, we take birth control. I mean, if we want to go down a freaking rabbit hole, birth control is
Yeah,
terrible. You know what I
we
mean?
do not take birth control ever. Have you
Yeah.
ever? I feel like I wouldn't touch that with a 10-foot pole, but no, I
Right.
totally agree.
It's very hard on our gut. So even if someone does want to take birth control, you're like, by the way, even if you don't have gut issues now, you need to at least be on a great probiotic.
Yeah. And
So
how does
yeah.
birth control actually affect our gut health?
So it affects like how our hormones work. It
Yeah.
affects the environment of our gut health. So again, that like balance of good and bad bacteria. And it can create what's called dysbiosis, which means there's less good bacteria and then more bacteria kind of come in and invade.
So it leaves room,
Yeah. Yeah.
sort of like if you're on an antibiotic or all these things.
Yes. And then it kills a lot of good bacteria. And then the bad bacteria just overgrows because we all have bad bacteria in our gut. It's just our body is in equilibrium until it isn't.
Yeah. Okay. So if someone's really, really struggling, we want to look at like lifestyle, stress, what you're eating,
Yeah.
potentially the food that you're eating. And then what are your other main ones?
I mean, those are really the big ones to focus
Yeah.
on stress, what you're eating. And then I'll sound like a broken record, but get a gut test because what you're eating, like you can't fully change your gut with food. And as a dietitian, I wish that was the case. I wish we could eat just a really healthy diet and all of our gut issues go away, but we can't.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Interesting. Do you think women have more issues with our gut health than men, or are women just more feeling more comfortable with being open about this kind of thing now?
It's hard to say. I think like there's a stat that 3 out of 4 women have gut issues.
Yeah. Wow.
And like literally 3 or 4. That's why, none of your girlfriend, like all of your girlfriends have gut issues, right? Like
Yeah. All the different pooping
same.
issues that come up. Yeah.
Yeah. And then you're talking about them over dinner. So I think more women do. It's hard to know, but how we've always like helped men is help the women first. And then the women are like, my husband takes my mocktail every night. He has no freaking clue that it gets rid of his bloating. You know what I mean? He's just like, yeah, that tastes great. I'll take it. So we always focus on women and then we're like, okay, let's get your
It'll
husband
trickle
too.
down. I feel like it's just men's health. That's a whole other discussion. We're going to switch gears and discuss IBS, which is kind of like the blanket diagnosis for gut issues, right? And I have been told that I have had IBS before and then have done protocols and then it's like gone away. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, what are your thoughts on IBS?
So I've always said, I mean, I was diagnosed with IBS too. Probably 95% of the women we work with are actually diagnosed with IBS. My thoughts are this: IBS is BS because it's like a blanket diagnosis of like a doctor being like, I don't know what to do with you. So we're just going to say you have an irritable bowel. And you're like, yeah, no shit. I have an irritable bowel. Now give me a solution.
Yeah.
So it's only us functional practitioners that are like, but what's the root cause?
Mm-hmm.
And that's really where you see healing is like, it doesn't matter really what diagnosis you have, whether it's IBS or celiac or Hashimoto's or PCOS. Like the diagnosis doesn't matter as much as like what's under the hood, like what's actually going on to cause those things.
Yeah, interesting. I completely agree. And there are different levels of IBS too. I feel like it's crazy how, in my own personal experience, did yours go away too, like
Oh
completely?
yeah. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And I
Yeah.
really believe like all the women that we work with, it should go away completely if you're working,
Yeah.
with the right practitioner.
Do you think a lot of issues in the gut stem from like inflammation in the gut? Is that what?
It depends. I mean, I'd say half the people we work with have inflammation of the gut, but I think inflammation is just this thing that people are like, oh, I feel so inflamed, when really it's like there actually might not be inflammation. You just feel like really bloated. And so maybe the bloating's actually being caused by you're not breaking down food well versus
Because of
inflammation.
candida or SIBO or whatever
Yeah,
other bacteria. Another one
exactly.
that I had experience with when my gut went crazy was H. pylori.
Same,
Yeah. Yeah.
same.
Which
That
that's
one,
another one that like probably most of us are exposed to, right? If your
yeah,
immune system is doing its job normally, it'll be no big deal. But if it gets weakened, it can kind of come back, right?
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, I had mine come back probably twice in the last 8 years.
How did you know?
It's just like, oh God, I just had a really stressful period. And now gosh, I had like heartburn, which I had never had, and like felt really bloated and was low energy. Oh my gosh. I mean, low energy is just such a sign that you have gut issues as well, because when you're not digesting and absorbing well, then like you can't use your food. So I was really low energy, and it was after a really stressful point when I started my business like 3 years ago. It was like I got burnt out and then everything came back, but I got rid of it in 3 months because I quickly knew like, okay, I'm going to take action on this before it gets too bad.
Yeah. What did you take action with? Like specific herbs and stuff or?
Yeah, well, I redid a gut test, even though, like I take one every year or maybe every other year if I don't have gut issues. But I was like, okay, H. pylori's back. My immune system is really low. So I added in the healer, which is like our dairy-free colostrum.
Yeah.
I did like very specific digestive enzymes with stomach acid support. My immune system was not doing well. So I made sure I was really gluten-free again. So it's kind of easy.
Getting back to basics when you really know, like, okay, this is what's popping up. It is so crazy. That could be a whole other podcast, but like stress in the immune system, it's so wild how much stress, and we hear it now, but like truly how it affects every aspect of your body. Back to the pooping discussion, because I really want to ask you this. How many times a day should we be pooping as women? What's a healthy number of poops, and like what should they look like if that's not TMI? No one really discussed that.
So it should be 1 to 2.
Okay.
I mean, it's plain and simple. It should be 1 to 2. They should be one piece, kind of long. And if they're really thin, that means there is actually inflammation going on in like the intestines, and you're probably not drinking enough water or having enough magnesium. If they're like pellets, you definitely need more water and magnesium. If it's really loose, then you need more of that immune support, that colostrum and probiotics. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot you can tell from your poop. It should never be floating. Oh my gosh, I feel like no one knows that.
Why? What's the floating? Okay.
Yeah, so floating means you're not digesting or absorbing fat malabsorption.
Okay.
So
I'm going to be checking my poop tomorrow morning if it's floating or not.
I mean, I like whip that out at dinner parties and people ask these questions, and then they'll be like, oh my God, it floats. And you're like, that is not good.
Okay. What do we do if our poop's floating?
Digestive enzymes for sure. And then you really just need to like holistically heal the gut. So again, get that test.
Yeah. Okay. And switching gears again to talking about magnesium, and then we can kind of segue into talking about your products. I'm so excited to start taking I haven't tried the healer yet. That's the colostrum alternative, dairy-free alternative. Okay. I'm going to get on this. I'm going to send this to my nephew. Sure. I'm sure she's going to be like, absolutely yes. Because I think like I support the immune system, but I haven't ever tried colostrum or any similar thing. So I'm so excited to try it.
Oh, you'll love it. You'll love it. And your naturopath will love it too. It honestly, so before I started my company, I was working with a naturopath at a holistic pharmacy.
Oh,
And
cool.
this like these immunoglobulins, which is what it's called, as you know, like that's actually what the ingredient is. I mean, they started to come out probably 6 years ago. And that healer is actually that singular ingredient is a
Mhm.
prescription as well for people with autoimmune issues. Like
Yeah.
even conventional medicine is figuring out how powerful it is, which is always so cool. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Conventional medicine is 30 years behind, but the ingredients that are in the healer are actually a prescription as well. It's like a
Wow.
$900 a month prescription, but
Oh my gosh. And we'll link everything in the show notes too. But doesn't our immune system on its own make that? Is it that you're giving? I could have just butchered that, but your immune system makes something similar to that, right? I'm just reading your.
yeah, it's more so boosting up what you have. It doesn't make exactly that, if that makes sense. Like
Okay.
it's our bodies do naturally produce something. I mean, it's in breast milk, like I just
Wow.
pumped right now.
Yeah.
And
Oh, how
literally while we were
do
on
you
the
have
podcast,
three little ones?
I have a 6-month old.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you. So like literally, I mean, it's in my breast milk. So like, yes, our body does produce it. Actually, that I've never thought about it like that, but yeah, that's literally what it is it's helping her immune system.
Wow, so cool. Okay. I'm so excited to try that one. And then why do we need magnesium? I will say taking magnesium was one of the first switches that I ever made, like when I first got into functional health 10 years ago, and it makes such a difference. And I feel like just now it's getting the recognition it deserves
Yes.
in, social media and in the news and stuff, even. Like people are finally jumping on to magnesium. But why do we need magnesium and what can it help us with?
Oh my God. So magnesium's involved in 300 different processes in the body, which is wild. It's a mineral and it helps the most with sleep, pooping, our nervous system, and stress. I really love it for like muscle tightness, especially like, I just had a hard Pilates workout yesterday and I had like a cramp during the workout. So I took more today and I feel so much better. And,
Yeah.
that's why some people take like magnesium baths or use
Yeah.
magnesium lotion, but it really should be taken internally because then it absorbs a lot.
Okay, interesting. And so we can do it. I love an Epsom salt bath. I love like adding magnesium flakes to the bath. It helps so much. What do you
Yeah.
think is the perfect dose for people? Like, do we want to start slow? Do we want to work our way up?
Yeah, I think if people have if they're going to the bathroom too much, I really love starting slow. It doesn't mean that magnesium will make you go more, but that can be, like slow dose there. So I recommend a half scoop of our magnesium or one capsule, which is about 150 milligrams. And then the sweet spot we've found for most people is one scoop of our magnesium, which is about 350 milligrams. Some people, if like another sign that you really need more magnesium are headaches or migraines a lot. So then I typically double dose the magnesium, one scoop at night, one scoop in the morning. It's like an MVP for constipation.
Yeah.
So it's
And
amazing.
do you have a favorite type of magnesium? Because we know there's like citrate. Is it glycinate? Yeah.
Yeah. So we use a bisglycinate. So it's like glycinate and even better.
Yeah. Okay.
And then citrate is kind of a cheap form that'll like give you diarrhea. So we don't love that. But a lot of
Okay.
companies use it like Natural Calm. It's like
Yes.
a really popular magnesium and it's citrate. And then I think they even switched to oxide, which is so sad because oxide is such a cheap form of magnesium that doesn't really work in the body. So we don't
Mm-hmm.
love magnesium oxide. And then another really great form is magnesium threonate, which we don't have, but it's really great for focus and memory and stuff like that. But magnesium bisglycinate is what is the best form I've ever used for like the most amount of things.
Oh, okay. That's good to know. So if you're having headaches and gut issues and you're not pooping, maybe start there.
Yeah,
And
and
we'll
not
link your
sleeping.
too. Yeah, not
Oh,
sleeping.
yeah.
Gosh. Okay, I want to ask you a few more things and then we'll let you go. But do you have any health habits that you swear by? I know you run a wellness company, a health company. Do you have anything that you do in your daily routine that you can't live without,
Oh my gosh. I mean,
especially as a new mom.
oh my gosh. I mean, magnesium, like if there's one wellness thing, like of course, if you have gut issues, the gut test is going to be the best place. But if
Mhm.
you're just someone who's like, I just want to feel
Yeah.
even better, like more optimized, magnesium's great. I mean, water is so important. Like I start my day with like a huge,
Filtered, or what kind of water do you like?
yes, filtered 1,000%.
Do a filter that
Yeah,
you
reverse.
and
Yeah, I love a reverse osmosis. We have the Berkey right now, which I honestly think they're closing down, which is so sad.
in California, right?
I guess so. It's so weird. Like I've tested our water with our Berkey and it is outstanding compared to our tap water. So I don't know
Yeah.
what's going on with that, but reverse osmosis is really great too. And then in the morning, so I start out with so I have 40 ounces. I start out with a half packet of Element electrolytes.
Love. Yeah.
Um, love, love, love. And then I add a scoop of our greens and reds. So we combine greens and reds together. I think reds is going to come, you have like a greens powder.
Yeah.
Well, I think Red's powders are going to start coming like on the
Like
market a
that's the
lot.
next thing. Okay.
That's the
Red's
next
powder. I've tried Organifi has a Red's
thing.
powder.
Yes.
Try your
Yeah.
guys'.
And we actually added them together. So instead of
Okay.
like needing a greens and a Reds,
Yeah.
we put them together because Reds are so important for anti-aging, skin health, and gut health. So we're like,
What is in Reds? Like, are we talking? It's red fruits and vegetables, right?
exactly, like pomegranates, raspberries, like those are so important for gut health, skin health, anti-aging. It's amazing.
Mhm. Oh, okay.
So I
So
do
cool. Okay.
that.
You have to have that every day.
Yes, so I do Element, I do a greens and reds, and then I'll do my vitamin D. I'm really big in like hacking things. Like instead of just going throughout my day and like needing to do so many things, I try to do a lot of things at once. So like typically right now, although I just like move my office around, I'd be walking while we're, podcasting or just trying to do like a lot of things. Yeah, I mean, you can't really hear it.
Yeah,
It's
one
pretty
time.
great.
That's a good tip.
Yeah, or like, just trying to get like health things together. So like sometimes I'll like meditate in my sauna, trying to do like two things together. Before I was a mom, I was definitely doing more wellness stuff transparently, you know what I mean? Like I'd
Yeah.
do breath work and then meditate and then sauna and then you know what I mean, all in one day. And now it's kind of like I have to prioritize like, okay, what am I going to really do today? Well, I know I can do my huge water and that like really starts out my day. I think a lot of my wellness hacks right now truly are supplements just because they're so easy and like I can stick to them. Like our prenatal, it's the thing that's helping my energy so much. And I realize when I don't take it. So,
Okay. And
yeah.
I was stalking you guys on Instagram, and did I see a post about taking the prenatal when you're not pregnant, like it being
Yeah.
okay for anyone?
Oh, 1,000%. All women. It's just like a
Yeah.
women's multi. It's just an amped up women's multi.
Actually,
So
I'm not taking, and I don't think I have in a really long time, a women's multivitamin. That's like,
I
is
gotta
that
get you on it.
commonly overlooked? I take
Yeah.
so many other things, but I don't think I'm taking a multivitamin.
I think it's really overlooked because we're on such like specific protocols. I also
Yeah.
think like vitamin D and fish oil are way overlooked, but they are the supplements we have the most research on. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like those are MVPs as
Fish oil
well.
makes a massive difference for me, I feel like, with my mental health
Yes. Oh
and
my
like
gosh.
clarity.
Yes. I feel the same way. I take 2 every day and yeah, it's so great.
Yeah, I love that though. I think that's honest I don't have children yet, but I'm sure that I will have to pare it down to really the things that we have time for, we can do every day. And
Yeah. And I mean, like, of course, there's like exercise, right? Like that's something I left out. That is something like that's a non-negotiable, like 4 days a week instead of like
yeah,
before I do like go to a Pilates class almost every day, So moving and I'm in New England, so I don't go on many walks right now, but walking is usually like such a
do you have
wellness
a
hack.
walking pad that you like a
Yeah.
specific pad?
I just got mine on Amazon.
Okay.
I
I
don't
haven't
know. It was like,
I usually am an outside walker because we moved to Nashville from Montana, and its weather is similar to New England. And so
yeah.
now it's a little bit nicer out, but it is rainy in the winter sometimes. So I've been thinking of buying a walking pad. I need to get
It's
on
so
that.
great. Yeah, I did like walk at least an hour a day. You know what I mean? Which is
Yeah.
like, it's not my whole day, but it's better than nothing.
Yeah, no, I love it. Thank you
Yeah.
so much for coming on the show, Bridget.
Thank
I can't
you.
wait to share Gut Personal with the girls.
Yay.
And yeah, where can we find you on social media and where can we stock your products?
Yeah. So Gut Personal on Instagram is the best place to stock our products. Get educated, you know what I mean? If you want to like learn more about gut health or just like women's wellness in general, like we are so focused on women feeling really amazing in their body and like dropping the bullshit that we don't deserve to feel that way. And then I'm Bridget Malley on Instagram. And yeah, come hang.
Oh, you're such a doll. Thank you for coming on. I really appreciate it.